on YouTube? It's your boy Cameron, and welcome back to another video. And today's video, I'm going to be making NFL predictions for records and the new additions and how they help the team and all that stuff. So with that all being said, let's jump up into it. The division we're going to be talking about is the NFC West. This is the division I know the most about because I am a LA Rams fan. I live in LA, and I've been a Rams fan basically my whole life, even when they were garbage and in St. Louis. So don't come at me with those freaking bandwagon comments. But my opinion, let's start out with the number one team in the NFC West and who's going to win it. I believe the Rams are still going to take the NFC West because, they added Eric Weddle, who is an upgrade over their last safety. Clay Matthews is a little bit old, but I do kind of like that line. Do kind of like how they buffed up at the linebacker spot, even though they did lose Mark Barron. But Eric Weddle was a stud. He still proved that he can play. I am kind of sad that we lost Ndamukong Suh, but, he really didn't do all that much. He played great in the playoffs, but in the season he was very average, not anything special. But in my opinion, I think the Rams will go 11-5 if they have Todd Gurley. If they don't have Todd Gurley, I think they'll go 9-7. I hope Todd Gurley plays. That knee injury is looking a little bit scary. Arthritis in the knee is no joke, and that could potentially end his career, even though it's just really getting started. So if Todd Gurley plays, 11-5. If he doesn't play, I think they'll go 9-7. And I know a lot of people are saying, I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll make a huge backstep. And yes, I know historically, the team that loses in the Super Bowl does not go back to the playoffs. But I think the Rams will rally. They have a great coach. Robert Woods had a big season. We still have Brandon Cooks. Jared Goff is getting better and better every year. So I personally think they're still Super Bowl favorites, and they're still going to be a problem. And then the second spot, you have the Seattle Seahawks. Right now, I think the Seattle Seahawks will go 9-7. That's just because they lost Earl Thomas. A lot of their defense is gone. But I am a big Russell Wilson fan. I think Russell Wilson, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in the league. Okay, he takes Seattle to the playoffs single-handedly every year with no offensive line. So right now, realistically, I think they'll go 9-7. But with Russell Wilson, you never know. He's such an offensive threat. So I think 10-6 will be a more realistic area. But, everyone's saying they lost Earl Thomas, but Earl Thomas was hurt last year, so they kind of played the whole year without him anyways and still made the playoffs. They have a good running back in Carson. He's a stud. Bobby Wagner is back. Even they lost Doug Baldwin to retirement, but, he's nothing like special. He's no Julio Jones. He's an average receiver at best. So I think the Seahawks are going to go 10-6 and be second place in that division. And then we have the 49ers, which in my opinion are going to go 5-11. You could call me a hater because I hate the fucking 49ers. I think they're a really, really annoying team. But their defense is looking pretty nice. They got Nick Bosa. They have DeForest Buckner. They have a couple studs on defense. And they got Kittle. He's a stud. He had an amazing, amazing year for a tight end. That is just insane. All right? But I do not believe the Jimmy G hype. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is overrated. I think it'll be very similar to a Brock Osweiler situation where everyone just overrates him because he backed up a great quarterback and he had like a couple good games and then he was asked the rest of his career. But San Francisco shelled out all that money to him. So I think he needs to produce this year or it's a make or break for him and he's done. And San Francisco is fucked. And in last place, you guys know what it is, the Cardinals. They lost Bruce Arians, which is a huge loss. They added Kyler Murray. Their O-line is kind of shite. They have the worst O-line in the league, I think. And their defense is not really what it used to be. Calais Campbell is gone. They still have Pat Pete, but I'm pretty sure he's suspended for some PED violations. And Larry Fitzgerald is like 150 years old. All right, he's a freaking dinosaur. And Kyler Murray, I think, is going to be hounded by defenses. Especially you have the Rams, you have the Seahawks, you have the 49ers. 3 good defensive teams that you really have to play 2 times a year. So I think he's going to get hounded. He's not going to really have a better year than Josh Rosen that he had last year. What did people expect Josh Rosen to do? He's in an absolute dumpster fire of an organization. All right,
the Saints.
So I
don't blame him for playing horrible.
Win this division.
I don't think
Kyler
Murray's
won
going
the
to be
division last
any
year,
better, really.
and they actually have
I
a
think the
solid
Cardinals
defense
are gonna
now.
go 2-11.
They gave Michael Thomas a bunch of money. They
2-14.
still have
That's
Drew
what I think
Brees,
they're
who,
gonna
in
go.
my opinion, can be argued in the GOAT conversation. So they have all that stuff, but a lot of people think they're going to take a big step in the wrong direction this year because they have that chip. They have that chip on the shoulder of, hey, we got snubbed in the NFC Championship game. And I'm a Rams fan, and I'll admit that was a bullshit call. But Drew Brees did throw an interception. Granted, they would not be in overtime if he didn't get that bullshit call. But still, you guys had a chance to win, and you didn't win. All right, so that's kind of on you, but it's also on the refs. So yeah, there's that. But I still think Drew Brees is a beast, and he finally has a defense. You still have Alvin Kamara. You still have Michael Thomas. Let's see. You added Latavius Murray to replace Mark Ingram, but I don't know how that's really going to work out because Kamara, Murray, maybe they probably don't have the same chemistry as Ingram and Kamara. And I think Kamara will actually, carry majority of the workload. But I still think the Saints are clear favorites to win this division. They're a solid team. And I think they're going to go 12-4. But if they take a back step, I think they're going to go 8-8 and go back to mediocrity. And then in second place, I think we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are fully healthy. In my opinion, they are the best team in the NFL on paper. All right? I'm not a big Matt Ryan fan, but you have Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman. You got rid of Mohamed Sanu. Your defense is actually decent now, You have a great offense. The offensive line is stacked, okay? So I think no injuries. This team is easily 12-4 or 13-3. The Falcons are a legit fucking contender, and people need to realize that, okay? Julio's a beast. They have a great offense, but they do have a tendency to get injured, and they are the Falcons. They have a big tradition of flopping. So I hope all goes well, but if it doesn't, I think the Falcons will go to 6-10. And if it does go well, I believe they'll be 12-4. And now we're moving on to the Carolina Panthers. I'm a big Cam Newton fan. I actually really love Cam Newton. I think he's a great quarterback. He has great size. And he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, which is a big problem. Okay? I think legit that Super Bowl loss took a lot out of him. And, rightfully so. Like, if you're that close and you lose in the Super Bowl, like, it hurts, man. It really hurts. The Panthers just have not looked the same since 2015. But I believe if they stay healthy, they have Luke Kuechly, who in my opinion is the best middle linebacker in the league. You have Cam Newton, who in my opinion is a great quarterback. McCaffrey, he stepped up. He really played amazing last season. Okay, and I think he's top 5, top 10 back in the league easily. So I think the Panthers, if all goes right, 10-6, but they have a habit of shit not going right for them, so 7-9. And now we're moving on to Tampa. Tampa is a wild card team, in my opinion. Not a wild card team like they make the playoffs. Like, they're crazy, man. They always have these ups and downs. They had that one guy, Josh Freeman, when they were at 12-4 or 10-6. They were 10-6, some crazy thing like that, with a really, really awful quarterback. Okay? And then they just completely fall apart. That was exactly like that with Jameis. Jameis, his first year, was a beast. I was like, all right, this guy is the truth. Okay, he made the Pro Bowl. He even played good his second year. But these last 2 years, he's played awful. Okay, so this is a This is a make or break year for Jameis. Easily a make or break year. I think if he rallies the troops, plays great, plays his heart out, he'll get a contract extension and he'll be good. Okay? He still has time, but right now he's a bust. He is a certified bust if he does not pick up his act this year. But you still have Mike Evans. You added Ndamukong Suh. So you could be okay. And if all goes right for Tampa Bay, I think they'll be 5-11. It's just the defense is not very good. You don't really have a running back. You do have Mike Evans. Jameis is always a wild card. So if he sucks, you guys are going to go 3-13. And I think that's a little bit more realistic at the moment. Moving on to the NFC North. In my opinion, the Bears are still going to win the division just because I think this division is pretty bad. I think the most competitive division in the NFC is the NFC East, followed up by the NFC South. I think the NFC South is very competitive. The NFC East is very competitive. The NFC West is meh, and this is easily the worst division in the NFC. You have the Bears, who I think will win the division just because you have Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is a beast, okay? Khalil Mack is the second best defensive player in the league. Easily, okay? He's a game changer. Big game changer. I know you lost Amos, but you have Clinton Dix still there. And he still got something in the tank. He can bring some veteran leadership. You still have Eddie Jackson. You still have Allen Robinson, who I think will step it up. You still have Tariq Cohen. You still have a great coach. Your defense is still insane. I think Mitch Trubisky might step it up, because he's very inconsistent. Some games he plays great. Some, even snap by snap, he plays differently all the time. So I still think that the Bears will go 10-6 and easily win that division. But if shit goes wrong, Trubisky takes a back step, I believe they'll go 7-9. And now we're going to move on to the Packers. I hate the Packers, okay? I really do. I think Aaron Rodgers is a fucking crybaby, okay? He got his coach fired, rightfully so. His coach was quite shit. They don't really have a defense. They did add Amos from the Bears, but I still think it's a little bit of a dumpster fire up in there in Green Bay. So I think they'll go 5-11. I really do think they'll go 5-11. I don't think they'll rally. I think their time as kings of the NFC North is done. It's done for. The Bears came to dethrone them. Once they got rid of Jay Cutler, I was like, all right, this team, the Bears are going to be legit now. And now we're moving towards the Vikings. This is another wild card team because Kirk Cousins, hopefully, Vikings can rally behind him and play a little bit better because I really do like their receiver core. They have a really, really fun receiver core to watch. They have Thielen, who had a huge year. They have Stephon Diggs, Rudolph. Dalvin Cook is a beast of a running back. They have a great offense. They have a great linebacker core. They have Barr, Kendricks, all these cool guys. They kept Barr after, he pulled a fucking Houdini on New York and went back to Minnesota. So I think Minnesota might actually be in contention to potentially win this division, but I just don't know because they made a lot of mistakes. Kirk Cousins played awful against the Bears. He made a lot of horrible mistakes. But against all the other losses, it really wasn't his fault. There was a lot of, the offensive line just collapsed and played awful. Okay, I think the offensive line is their biggest problem, and you can't win in the NFL without an offensive line. So I think the Vikings go 6-10, and in best case scenario, 7-9. But now we're moving on to Detroit, and what do I really need to say about Detroit? They're the bootleg Patriots, Dollar Tree Patriots. Stafford is declining. They don't really have a running game. They're just the fucking Lions, man. They're just the Lions. I'm sorry. Lions fans, I'm sorry. I think you guys are in for a rough year. 3-13. Now we're moving on to the NFC East. This is a big one, I think. This is a very interesting division. It is, in my opinion, the most competitive division in the NFC. You have Philly, which I think boosted up, okay? They got Howard from the Bears, who I think is a fucking stud and is going to put up numbers in Philly. I think he's going to put up numbers, potentially a 1,000-yard season. Wentz is a stud, even though I believe Goff is actually the better quarterback because he can actually play a whole season. But Wentz is a stud nonetheless. You have, what's his name? The receiver who, Butterfingers. You have Butterfingers. I think he's going to play pretty good. He always plays great. Even when he was on the Bears with Jay Cutler, he played great. Aguilar, he's all right. You have a great defense, a fantastic defense, okay? I really think the Eagles are going to go 12-4, maybe even 13-3. The Eagles are fantastic, okay? I legit think they're going to be Super Bowl contenders this year. They buffed up over the offseason, and, the Eagles are legit. They're a legit team. And now we're moving on to the second spot. You have Dallas. Jason Garrett is a coach, so 8-8. They call him Mr. 8-8. No, I'm just joking. Dallas is a good team. You added Amari Cooper. Zeke's holding out, but I do think they're going to reach an agreement. Because if you don't pay Ezekiel Elliott, you're an idiot. He's the second best running back in the NFL, but behind your man, Todd Gurley, who is a beast. But Ezekiel Elliott is easily the second best running back in the league. You have to pay this man. You have to pay him. He's the life and soul of your offense. Your offensive line is fully healthy now. Everyone's back. You have Amari Cooper. Dak, he's only good with Zeke, in my opinion. Zeke really bails him out. But, when Zeke plays, Dak plays really good. Okay? Because, he has less pressure on him and he can make throws. You add Cooper. You still have Cole Beasley, I'm pretty sure. You have a great defense. Lawrence is a fucking stud. So I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to go 10-6, man. Easily 10-6. Or, you have Jason Garrett coaching, so 8-8 maybe. But that's just on Jason Garrett. I think they need to fire Jason Garrett. Why the fuck is he still the coach? He's awful. He's a terrible coach. Give Dallas a better coach, and they're a Super Bowl contender. They just hire awful coaches. I don't know why. And now we're moving on to the Skins. Besides finessing the freaking Giants in the draft and getting Haskins, which I think is going to be a great pick because he's very, very accurate. I don't know. He's going to be good. I think so, just for that pick. I don't think he's going to be like the best quarterback in the league one day. Personally, I think the QBs in this draft were actually kind of lackluster. Next year's class is a lot better. So I think Washington will be 6-10. They got Collins. They still have Norman, even though Norman really hasn't lived up to his contract. They really just overpaid for him, like really badly. So, I don't know. I think the Redskins are either 8-8 or 6-10. They still have 98-year-old Adrian Peterson. He's still produced, but I don't know. It's just the Redskins have been kind of a dumpster fire for a long, long time, and they're not really the best at developing quarterbacks. They've had a lot of bad luck with quarterbacks. Of course, RG3 was hurt. Kirk Cousins didn't really pan out. Alex Smith got injured, which is really unfortunate. So I think Alex Smith, he would have led them to the playoffs because Alex Smith is a great quarterback. He's a good game manager. Not going to be a Hall of Famer by any stretch, but he will win you some games and get you into the playoffs. He's known for that. But he just unfortunately got hurt, and they fell into obscurity after that. So I think the Redskins are going to be 6-10 because you're led by a rookie quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks aren't really the best their first year. It's very, very hard to be a productive rookie in the NFL as a quarterback, which is the hardest position to play. And then we have the Giants, the Clowns, the New York Clown Show, 3-13. Daniel Jones, awful pick. Awful pick. In college, he sucked. He was nothing special. All right, you could have picked him in the third round. Easily second round pick. Okay, you completely botched that. Completely. You lost Collins. You trade OBJ for pennies on the dollar. Even though OBJ was a locker room cancer. You refuse to let Eli go. You're giving him stuff. You have Saquon Barkley, which is legit your only saving grace. But I legit think Saquon Barkley will have a Todd Gurley second year kind of stint because legit that's all they're going to do. Every defense is going to stack up and just fucking hound Saquon. And it's going to be very, very hard for him to get yards because they're all going to be focusing on him. They don't really all their receivers are injured. So who the hell is Eli going to throw to? He usually throws to the other team anyways. But they're completely screwed. 100%. They're done. They're going 3-13. You cannot tell me otherwise. We're heading on over to the AFC. In my opinion, the AFC is a way better conference than the NFC. 100%. The AFC is legit. The AFC West, in my opinion, is the best division in the NFL. Okay? Kansas City, stud Patrick Mahomes. 50 touchdowns. MVP. Cover of Madden. You re-up on the defense. Get the Honey Badger. Okay, you cut all the freaking geezers you had on there. You don't have a running game, but Tyreek Hill, he's doing the race against the freaking Child Protective Services, so he still gets to play somehow. I don't know how he gets to play. You lose Kareem Hunt, but that really doesn't matter because you re-upped on the defense, okay? I think Damian Williams is still your running back, and he actually did all right. He produced. The Chiefs, they have Andy Reid, who's a fantastic coach, always gets his teams into the playoffs. I think they're going to go 13-3 and have the best record in the NFL. Okay? The Chiefs have a lot of expectations to live up to, but Patrick Mahomes is the truth. All right? Some people would probably just think, it's just a regular season. It doesn't matter. He produced in the playoffs. If you're a bust, you don't produce in the playoffs. He produced in the playoffs, okay? Patrick Mahomes is the fucking man, okay? He is the man. And now we're going to San Diego. If Melvin Gordon holds out, you're going 8-8. I'm sorry. Phillip Rivers has a whole daycare at his house, but you still have Keenan Allen. Phillip Rivers is a bit of a choke artist, in my opinion. I don't know why you guys traded him for Breeze. San Diego, you guys need help. And yes, they are still San Diego in my mind. The San Diego Chargers are like the LA Clippers, man. They have 3 fans, okay? That's it. They have 3 fans, and they play in a fucking soccer stadium, all right? Nobody cares about the Chargers here in LA. You guys are still San Diego's team. But you guys have a great defense, fantastic defense, great running back in Gordon, great receiver core, great quarterback in Phillip Rivers. He's great, all right? He's a beast in the regular season. But Tom Brady is his dad, so he needs to, find a way to beat Brady if he wants to elevate. But Gordon's a stud. Keenan Allen's a stud. The defense is amazing. So I think the Chargers will go 10-6, but if Gordon holds out, I think they'll go 8-8. And now we're moving on to the Broncos. This is how I think the Broncos are going to play out. Flacco, he's going to play like 4 or 5 games, get benched for Drew Lock. And from what I've seen and what I've even heard from Bronco fans, Drew Lock is terrible. So I think they're going to go 3-13. Okay, you still have a beast of a defense. Phillip Lindsay's a stud. I'm a big Phillip Lindsay fan. He's the underdog a lot of people are rooting for. Undrafted, lives at his parents' crib. 1K rusher. If he has another big year, pay that man. He's going to request some money. And Elway better shelve it out because Elway is a horrible GM at picking quarterbacks. So I think they'll go 3-13, but best case scenario, 6-10. And now we're moving on to Oakland. Oakland, man, you gotta give the town one last hurrah. You gotta give the town one last hurrah. Okay, you trade Khalil Mack for freaking some pocket lint and some cheese, and you lose Amari Cooper, which I wasn't really, I don't think Raider fans should really be mad about that, just because Cooper really wasn't producing under you guys. So it was a waste of time to keep him anyways. But nonetheless, you lose Cooper. Derek Carr, he's regressed. This is a make or break year for Derek Carr. Just like Winston and Mariota, this is a make-or-break year, okay? If he sucks, he's out. Derek Carr is out if he sucks. He sucked last year. He made some awful throws, okay? So if he sucks, he's out. You had a bunch of first-round picks, and Farrell, you picked him a little bit too high. In my opinion, you should have drafted somebody else, like Josh Allen maybe, to replace Khalil Mack, but I guess they thought Josh Allen was a scrub. Farrell has all the accolades, all right? He's some football powerhouse, Clemson, defensive player of the year in his conference. You had Josh Jacobs, who I'm a big fan of, and I think he's going to be a beast, but he didn't even start, okay? He really didn't even start. You're banking on potential. It's not really that bad. You picked him late first round. I hope he can produce. I'm always, rooting for the youngins to come up. But this is a make-or-break year for the Raiders. You had Antonio Brown, who's a locker room cancer, and now they're very have a reminiscent situation to the Lakers in the NBA. They add an aging superstar, and they need to add superstars right now, and they need to win now. That is the only way they're going to get the most out of Antonio Brown. The only other reason it makes sense that they got Antonio Brown is a business move to get fans, to win over fans in Vegas. That's the only other thing I can see the reason they got Antonio Brown. But they're coached by Gruden, who's horrible at trading, very bad at it, but he's an all-right coach. So I think best case scenario, they go 7-9, but more realistically, 5-11. Going on to the AFC South, which is another fantastic division. I think the Colts are going to win it, going 11-5. You have Andrew Luck, beast, finally a good defense, finally an offensive line, so Andrew Luck doesn't have to say good sack, buddy, 50 times a game, okay? Andrew Luck got hounded ever since the Deflategate stuff, and he got injured just because that offensive line was horrible. okay? But he finally has an offensive line, finally has a good defense, and that man is dangerous. Andrew Luck is dangerous, man. That fool is a stud of a quarterback. You can argue he's the best quarterback in the league, okay? Andrew Luck is a beast, and I think they'll go 11-5, easily winning that division. And now we go to Houston. You know, I was born in Houston, but I don't know, man. They choke a lot. They still have DeAndre Hopkins, who's a beast. Deshaun Watson, I think he needs to step it up because he had a very similar year to his rookie year, which is not bad. I'm not complaining about it. But people are going to try to really get to him. But I think he's going to have a good NFL career. All right? Your defense is amazing. You still have J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. I think they're going to either be 10-6 or regress and go 9-7. That's how I think the Houston Texans are going to pan out. You know, you still have Lamar Miller, which I'm not a really big fan of. I think he's a very, very overrated back. He had a couple good years in Miami, and after that, he's just been very average. And you paid him a lot of fucking money. But 10-6 or 9-7 is how I think the Texans are going to pay out. Then you have the Titans. The Titans are a really young and exciting team. All right? The Titans are very, very exciting. Also, Mariota has a lot to lose. This is a make-or-break year for Marcus Mariota. 100%. 100%. If Mariota sucks, he's out. He's a bust, just like Winston and Carr. He's done, okay? But you have a beast of a running back in Henry. I really am a big fan of him. He's a baller. You have a really good young receiving core. You have Delaney Walker, who's fantastic. You have a great offensive line. Fantastic offensive line. And I actually think they might make the playoffs. Best case scenario, 10-6. But I think they might go 8-8 if Mariota gets hurt or he just, stays being mediocre. And then you have the Jags, 3-13. Nick Foles is terrible when he leaves Philadelphia. I don't know what it is. That shit's like his secret stuff. Whenever he goes to Philly, he's a beast. But outside of Philly, he's awful. Like on the Rams, he was horrible. Granted, he had Jeff Fisher as a coach, but he was horrible. Okay? Really bad. You have Leonard Fournette for the whole year. You still have a good defense, but you got rid of Tashawn Gibson and stuff. But you still have Miles Jack, which I'm a big fan of, Campbell. But I just think it's too much of a dumpster fire down there in good old Duval. So I think that y'all are going to go 3-13 down there. And now you have the AFC North, which is very interesting. Very, very interesting division. You have the Browns, which fucking read up and pull some Warriors shit. You have a great receiving core with Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. You have Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Chubb. But your defense got a little bit worse, and you traded some of your offensive linemen. So I think the Browns actually might be a little bit disappointing. I'm a big fan of Jarvis Landry. I really, really liked him. Odell Beckham, I'm a little bit more critical of just because he acts like a 5-year-old, and his numbers have been decreasing steadily ever since he was a rookie. Granted, he had Eli, and he had a lot of injuries, but hopefully he can pick it up. I think the Browns are either going to go 10-6 or 8-8, be very mediocre. Maybe Mayfield can step it up. I mean, he played great his rookie year, but I don't know. People are going to be coming for him now. The Browns got a target on their back, and they have a lot of expectations that they haven't had in like 30 years. Okay? So 10-6, I think, is more realistic just because that offense is a fucking juggernaut. All right, they have the best receiving core in the league, 100%. You have 2 all-pro receivers, 2 amazing running backs, and then finally you have a capable quarterback. Okay, so I think 10-6 or 8-8 is very realistic for them. Then you have the Steelers. Only Steeler fans think they're going to win the division. Nobody else does. You still have Big Ben, who does some really dumb shit. I think Connor is a stud. Your defense has not been the same since Shazier, which is unfortunate. I don't think he'll ever come back to play. But nonetheless, I think you guys are going to go 9-7. She was just a train wreck over there in Pittsburgh last year. You had Blavion holding out. You had Brown complaining. You still have Juju Smith-Schuster, but now he's going to be double-teamed all the time, and people are really going to be coming for him. All right, he has a target on his back because now he's the number one guy. And can he be the number one guy? That is what your season is depending on. Can Juju be the number one guy, and can he, really play amazing like he did, last year and the year before that? Antonio Brown really fucked up that team last year. He was a complete distraction. I agree with trading him. I think that was a great move. You have to trade him. Big Ben, I still think has something in the tank, but I still just think the Steelers are going to go 9-7. And then you have the Ravens, and I think the Ravens take a big step in the wrong direction. Lamar Jackson can't throw. All right, you have Mark Ingram, who's, he's okay. He's not really, a 1K rusher. Your fucking quarterback's going to have more yards than your goddamn running back. You add Earl Thomas, but that's always the Ravens. The Ravens always have they're always a defensive-oriented team and have a strong defense. But Lamar Jackson is really your make or break. Okay, this is why I say this division is very interesting, because you have a lot of a lot of teams that are banking on one thing working out for them. You have Cleveland, which is banking really on the duo of Beckham and Landry, because Kareem Hunt and Chubb too. That's why I think Cleveland might actually just win this division, just because they have two things they can fall back on. They have Chubb, Hunt, Landry, Beckham. And, Steelers are just banking on, really, can Juju be the man? And, Ravens are really banking on, can Lamar Jackson step up and be a legit quarterback? Because you can't just be a running quarterback in this league. You're going to get hurt. All right? And if you say, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is so fucking accurate. All right? He's one-of-a-kind talent. All right? Not every player is LeBron. Just as not every player is Russell Wilson. All right? And now, I think the Ravens are legit going to be 4-12. I legit think they play awful next year. Don't call me a hater. I legit just think they play awful. Then you have the Bungles, 2-14. Andy Dalton is a scrub. I'm sorry. AJ Green is hurt. Your defense is gutted. You don't really have anything going for you. Okay? They're in the basement of the AFC North. I'm sorry, Bengals fans. It's just not going to work out for you this year. The AFC East. You already know who's going to win it. Patriots. You have the system quarterback and Bill Belichick. Okay? Yes, Tom Brady. He's a system QB. Sorry to break it to you. But that doesn't change the fact that he's still... It pains me to say it. He's still the GOAT. His accolades speak for himself. Okay? He wouldn't be shit without Bill Belichick. Okay? 100%. But he still has all the accolades in 6 Super Bowls. All right? Even though he cheated for 3 of them. But, he still has those, okay? Your owner is too busy going to massage parlors, and you have, video cameras on deck and all that stuff. But I still think you guys go 13-3 just because your division is a fucking joke, and 2 of those losses are coming from Miami. I don't know who will beat you the other one time. But that's okay. 13-3, easily going to go to the playoffs, and everyone's going to say, oh, they're done, the Patriots dynasty's done, and then they come back and surprise everybody and go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. Happens every year. But I'm just going to come out and say it, they're going to be amazing this year. All right? I don't want them to be amazing, but they're going to be amazing this year. That's it. Okay? Then you have the Jets, which got pretty good. You got Le'Veon Bell. I think Darnold is going to be pretty legit. I think he has a good future ahead of him. Your defense got better. The Jets will just be the Jets, 5-11. I'm actually liking what they're doing over there in New York. I really do like their New Jerseys too, by the way. Then you got Bills Mafia. You got Josh Allen throwing 90-mile-per-hour fastballs on a screen pass to a fifth-string receiver who's never seen the field. 3-13. Easily. 87-year-old LaShawn McCoy. Frank Gore. So, 3-13. The Bills are not going to be very good. And then you have the Dolphins, which in my opinion are going to be the worst team in the league. So, they'll beat the Patriots 2 times, and that's it. They have Josh Rosen. If I was him, I'd request a trade. You're going to hinder your career being there. It's a dumpster fire over there. Dumpster fire. Okay? Shit heap over there. Kenyon Drake, he just hasn't replicated a couple games he had 2 years ago. I really do like his game. I'm rooting for him because he's the underdog. Everyone loves to see the underdog. So I'm rooting for Kenyon Drake. But I either think the Dolphins are going to go 2-14 or 0-16. They have potential to be the worst team in the league. They lost Cameron Wake. He went to Tennessee. He's old. They still have Xavier Howard, who's a beast. I really do like his game. But I don't know. The Dolphins always have, 2 or 3 good defensive players. Like they had Cameron Wake, Brent Grimes, and the safety. I forgot his name. They still have the safety, I'm pretty sure. And they have Xavier Howard now. I just don't think they're going to do anything, okay? I think they should shell it all out and just rebuild from there. Devontae Parker is a tease. He sucks, okay? Kenny Stills is not very good. He's only good because of Drew Brees. You lost Landry. Tannehill was a joke. I've always said Tannehill sucked ass, and they should have cut ties with him a while ago. But, yeah, 0-16 or 2-14. Thank you guys all for watching the video. Let me know what you guys' predictions are in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy Cameron. I am out.